this generosity is so much that it makes me want to sing. Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman, they like to roll the dice. By chance they came on Devil's Game, and gosh, they paid the price. But now with Jason at the helm and Miss Chalice close in tow, he'll give this game its just desserts. 300%, let's go!
That was incredible, Ateatree. Thank you very much for that. Hello,
my
everyone.
Pleasure.
I am Jason2890, and this is Cuphead. Today we're going to be showcasing the 300% category, and before I get into what all that entails, let me just introduce my co-commentator, Cuphead legend in his own right. We have Sublime joining me. Sublime, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Sublime. I speedrun Cuphead, and I've done a lot of different hitless runs for the game, and I'm going to be helping Jason out. Jason is one of the best players in the world, so I'm really excited for everyone to see him do a run that has all of the content, including everything new from the DLC, and to show everyone how the DLC affected the meta for the game and how you can utilize the DLC for the base game. And I hope that you all enjoy the run.
Yep, so as Sublime mentioned, the 300% run is basically a completionist category. We're going to complete the base game, the DLC, which just came out last year. We're going to beat all the bosses, collect all the coins, buy all the weapons, charms, etc. And we're doing it all on the expert difficulty. Now, normally expert difficulty is locked behind a completed file, but as long as you have a completed file on your save files here, you could actually do what's known as the fresh expert glitch to start a new file on expert, so you don't have to go through the entire game on regular and then again on expert for these speedruns. And if you're here to see specifically the DLC content, do not go anywhere. We go through the DLC aisle very early in the run and then use a lot of the DLC items to go through the base game. So even if you're familiar with Cuphead speedruns for the base game, it's going to look quite a bit different since we're going to be seeing a lot of playtime as Miss Chalice. We're going to be using the Cursed Relic. We're going to be using some different weapon combinations, and we'll get into all those details later. We'll get the run started here in just a moment. I believe we had a donation incentive for character selection, so do we have a result on that, Ateatree?
I believe so, but I'm going to give it one more check because it is so darn close right now.
Yeah, last I checked, it was like 51%.
Yes, it is now
49%.
closed. 569 to 539. Player 2 carries the day. We will be playing as Mugman.
Alrighty, Mugman, the true hero of the story, in my opinion, and my personal favorite. So I'm glad you guys voted for Mugman, so you pulled through here. And also, I hope you are all fans of lame puns and dad jokes. There's going to be plenty of them during this run. We are going to have a PUNderful time, right, Sublime?
Oh my goodness, you're already getting started with that, I see.
Already
yes, I will try my best.
And also, if you have donations to send them in with your best puns too. Maybe Ateatree will be able to read them live on stream. So with that being said, we are going to start the run in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
So the beginning of the run, thank you. Beginning of the run, we're going to go skip a couple of these intro cutscenes because we're trying to go fast here. We are going to talk to Elder Kettle. He's going to go give us a little potion and tell us to get going, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go into the tutorial right here. And we're not going to the tutorial because we don't know how to play the game. We're going to the tutorial because there is a coin in the tutorial, which will... which will be part of the game since we have to go collect all the coins as well. So once we collect that, we're going back to the world map here. We're going to go and talk to this apple guy over here to get 3 more coins, and we're going to go into the first of 6 run and gun levels, Forest Follies, which is coming up in just a moment here.
This is a very optimized level. There's so many runs that get to this point since it's right at the beginning, so the strats for this are very tight.
Yep, and here we go. You'll notice some recurring tech that we use in this run. With the dashes, there's a little jump that we do after each dash, and that resets the cooldown and allows you to dash again a little bit sooner than you'd be able to otherwise. And it doesn't save that much time on an individual level basis, but over the course of a run, it saves quite a few seconds. And we're going to try to do a trick here to get over this acorn machine.
Nice.
Yep, okay, so we just damage boosted over that. And even though we're past that, we are not quite out of the woods yet.
Oh.
But there we go.
Nice.
We're done with that level now.
That was good.
So we got the 5 coins from that, and we're actually going to go straight to Mausoleum 1 because you need to complete the first Mausoleum of the game in order to unlock the DLC aisle. And the Mausoleum is where you first get introduced to Miss Chalice. But the mausoleum itself is kind of like an auto-scroller. There's not a whole lot of action going on. So if you do have any donations to read Ateatree, now would be the perfect time. We have probably about a minute and a half or so until the next part of the run.
My pleasure. We've got $50 from Anonymous, who chipped in to help us get to this run and says 300%. I don't know what that means, but I like it. And I am loving it so far myself. Thank you, Anonymous. $50 from Sir Dan1987, who says the wizards and warriors have assembled for a speedrunning event to defeat the ultimate bad known as cancer. Let's assemble our skills and strengths to defeat cancer. I love where your head's at, Sir Dan. Thank you very much for your generosity. Jason LaRose sends in $1,000 and says, $1,000 donation train. Choo-choo!
Jeez, thank you.
Yes, it is amazing to see the generosity of our wonderful viewers. Thank you so much, everyone. Lord Mikota sends in $25 to Prevent Cancer Foundation, says, been watching for so many years and I love to see things evolve. This community is too amazing and I can't wait for all the insane spood runs. Keep on kicking it. Let's save the animals and mock the humans. Decisive. We'll see what we can do with that for you, Lord Mikota. Thank you. Zekier seems like they were interested in one of our candle prizes, sending in $5 and saying, delicious Wumpa candle. Won't eat, honest. Please don't eat any Wumpa or banana candles. Thank you. This is your official PSA on that.
All right, so we are entering the DLC aisle right now. Just a little background of the story. You meet Miss Chalice. She's a ghost. She wants to become alive again. She introduces you to a wonderful, nice little chef named Chef Saltbaker. He gives you something known as the Astral Cookie, which will allow you to play as Miss Chalice on an individual level basis, but the only way for her to become human is for you to collect the ingredients from enemies around the island so you can make what's known as the Wonder Tart. That's your goal for the DLC aisle. So that is what we're trying to do right now. We're, in the meantime, just collecting some coins. We're going to go into something called the King's Leap right here, which is basically the DLC equivalent of the running guns. It's how you obtain coins. And you'll notice very quickly it's chess-themed. You'll play against a bunch of bosses here that are all based off of chess pieces. Up first, we have the pawns. And just like in a real game of chess, there are a lot of pawns here. And we will take this one step at a time. Now, it's not really intended for you to be able to go up here, but because of Chalice's movement abilities, we are able to just hop right on up here and take out a bunch of pawns at once. You're a little at the mercy of RNG there at the end. And you need some pretty good reaction time for these chess fights because you don't want to get stuck with a queen, a rook, and a hard place, right?
You can get them all really early in one go, but it's a pretty tall order.
Yeah, it's RNG dependent as well. And I didn't mention it yet, but you'll notice that we're not firing any weapons, or we're not using our guns at all on these fights, and that's because, you know, the old saying goes, you should never bring a gun to the night fight. So that's what we're doing right now. We're fighting the knight here. But yeah, you can only use your parry to attack these bosses. And we're just able to take the knight down quickly there. He takes 20 hits, and if you play this as Cuphead, since his parry is a lot different than Miss Chalice's, it often takes a lot more time.
I will say, with all those parries, you really knocked out his knight light.
And Ateatree getting in on it, nice. And up next, we have the bishop here. Do you know why bishops only move diagonally in chess?
No, why do they only move diagonally?
Because north, south, east, and west are cardinal directions.
You have to parry a lot here in this level. Sometimes it feels like it never comes to an end.
I think only the chess fans are going to understand that one. Let's see. Oh yeah, so if you haven't noticed already, we have to go... to make this boss vulnerable, we need to put out all these candles. And there we go. Take him out. Down to 1 HP. It was a little trick, but or a little tricky there, but we got through it, no problem. And you'll notice after each of these fights, I'm also retrying. Normally there's an animation where you see Mugman collecting the coins, but we're able to skip that animation and still obtain the coins. It saves a couple seconds each time. This fight's pretty straightforward, as long as I don't make any rookie mistakes here. It's the rook fight. But yeah, because of this Chalice's double jump ability, you're able to basically just fly in the air while you parry these.
Yeah, Miss Chalice is extremely good at the King's Leap. With the every time you get a parry, you get a dash reset and a jump reset, and it just is a huge difference, especially in this level.
Should be in there. We go. Okay. Oof. And then already coming up, we have the final boss of the King's Leap, which, as you probably guessed, it's the Queen, the most powerful boss in chess. And the most powerful boss in the King's Leap here. We have to go fire these little cannons at her. It's actually is a little bit tricky because she's a little unpredictable. She moves back and forth. Sometimes she stops at random. You have to dodge his projectiles as well.
This one has a really high skill ceiling because it's really hard to aim the cannon correctly every time.
Yeah, I missed like 2 or 3 there, but still finished her pretty quickly. But okay, that does it for the King's Leap. We've already collected basically all the coins in the DLC. We're going to just exit the map really quick here to skip another animation. There is a little puzzle that's coming up here, so it actually randomizes each time you start the game. So I'm going to have to talk to these guys really quick. Let's see, up right, left down, down right, up right, left down, down right, right? So 913. Okay, I got to go to the shop really quick and buy a few things here. We're going to buy the broken relic, and we're going to buy some weapons here. We'll get into the mechanics of the relic later. But yeah, we're going to do some quick equipping here. Okay. You can luckily menu while Pork Rind is telling you how to equip items, so that saves a little bit of time here. We're going to get a hidden coin that's behind the bakery, and that actually does it for all the coins in the DLC. Now we just have to complete all the bosses. So we're going to go dive down here and fight the secret boss. So we have to interact with these gravestones in the same order of those that those people that we talked to earlier mentioned. And then Bugman's going to take a little nap here, and he has a nightmare. So we are going to have to fight this, which I believe was actually a cut phase from the original devil fight in the base game. If you look up old beta footage for the game, you actually see a fight that's very similar to this. And I thought it was really cool they decided to bring it back for the DLC. It's actually very difficult. You can only hurt the boss whenever you're facing him. So we're going to try to make quick work of him here. There we go.
Nice.
Nice and smooth. And doing that fight actually turns the broken relic into the cursed relic. And the cursed relic, as part of completing the game, it adds percentage to your file for you to uncurse the cursed relic. And to uncurse the cursed relic, you need to do a certain amount of battles with the cursed relic equipped, which will give you a bunch of negative effects. We're not doing any of the battles with the cursed relic just yet, but once we do, we'll explain a little bit further as to what that entails, because it does make some of the fights quite a bit harder. But first, we have the Howling Aces, which are a bunch of aerial dogs right here that we're facing. And they're going to give me a rough time.
And unfortunately, they have a bone to pick with us.
Oh, yeah. All right, that was a pretty good face. Okay.
I mean, not that you didn't know, but Chad is absolutely howling right now.
Nice. Now, this is a really cool mechanic. The first time I saw this, it really got me. It threw me for a loop here because the game actually physically changes the direction that you're facing, and now we're upside down. And when I used to do that part, I had to physically turn my head to figure out what's going on. I'm finally used to it now, 6 months later. But geez, that was a pretty tricky to get used to at first. A really cool game mechanic.
Yeah, that was probably the trickiest one for me out of the 5 at the beginning of the DLC.
Yeah. And coming up next, the next boss we're going to be facing is Mortimer Freeze. And I guess there's plenty that we could say about this guy, but I just hope we have a nice fight.
I guess just got to mention the second phase is pretty scary. You got to make sure it doesn't snowball out of control.
In my first time playing through the DLC, though, this is definitely the boss that I struggle with the most, I would say. There's definitely a lot of pretty tricky parts of this. A lot of stuff to dodge.
Not gonna lie, it really seems like he's got no chill.
Yeah, this guy is not chill at all.
This is where the
We're
fight
at
gets a
final
little
phase here.
flaky.
Yeah. Luckily,
Nice.
this boss himself, the head does not have a hurt box, so you can actually go directly on top of him and shoot these spready X's for massive damage. You're able to finish that fight off pretty quickly.
Also, so some of the advantages that Miss Chalice gives for a run through of the game, even for the base game bosses, she has the double jump, and the double jump lets you hit more of your shots on higher hitboxes, and it allows you to set up bigger traps with weapons, like when you know that something's going to come on screen. And she also has the dash and jump resets, and she has an invincibility roll. And she has an extra HP.
Really
so there's like
mechanics.
a lot of reasons to just get her immediately and use her for the base game if you're forced to get all the content in the game.
And hope nobody here has Fee-Fi phobia because we're facing Glumstone the Giant.
Yeah, this boss can be a giant problem if you're not careful.
But yeah, this first phase is really, really tricky actually, because there's just so many things going on, and the platform's missing, and then there's a really cool surprise in store for final phase, and there's a really cool glitch that we can do here as well. That's some of you may think it's reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country. You'll see what I mean whenever we get there, assuming I'm able to do it properly.
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
Okay. We're moving into final phase now.
This is definitely one of the hardest fights for the DLC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we set up an infinite dash roll in the air here. That was a little tricky. But I still have to dodge some projectiles here because if they hit me, it's still tough. But right now, this boss also does not have a hurt box on his face. We're able to do this infinite dash roll while shooting, while we're over his hitbox, and that just saves us a lot of times that we're able to hit consistent damage right there.
Nice.
And as we beat the giant, we just reached a Brobdingnasian milestone, $100,000 raised for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much to everyone.
That's crazy. It's been less than 8 hours. That's awesome. Whew. And coming up, we have Moonshine Mob. This is just a group of mobster bugs. And yeah, I guess I like to think that this first guy might have got turned to a life of crime prematurely. He might have wanted to be a web designer before he fell in with the wrong crowd.
It looks like Miss Chalice may have been a pretty good debugger too before she started all this.
I think this was another fight as well that was originally supposed to be in the original game and then ended up getting scrapped a little bit.
Wait, really? That's cool.
Save time. Yeah, I think that was originally supposed to be like one of the King Dice mini bosses, maybe. But just that second phase right there, and they ended up integrating into the DLC, which is another really cool thing. I do have a. Speaking of anteaters here, since there's an anteater right there, I do have a good anteater joke if you guys want to hear it. So an anteater walks into a bar, and the bartender asks him, "Can I get you something to drink?" And the anteater says, "No." And then the bartender asks, "Well, can I get you something to eat?" And the anteater again says, "No." So then the bartender asks him, "What's with the long nose?" And he says, "I was born with it." I'm having too much fun. But we have coming up here Esther Winchester, the one and only plane fight of the DLC. There's quite a few in the base game, but you'll notice the mechanics here are a little bit different. It's actually first phase pretty tricky. Probably can't talk for a little bit. You want to go talk about the mechanics a little bit?
Yeah, the Miss Chalice has like higher DPS with just her main her main shooting without the EX. And with the EX, it depends on the fight that you're in. But here we have 1 extra HP. We can damage boost a little bit better. We have the very good just base DPS from the gun she has, and using nukes is pretty effective. We can go right up like into the face of this boss and use our HP to just try and damage boost and do as much damage as possible.
The stakes are a little high at this point.
Yeah,
Gotta be careful.
especially with 1 HP.
Oh, took it down
nice
there.
try.
That's rough. This is a very rough fight, especially if you try to do it quickly. I guess I needed to move a little faster.
Yeah, Jason gives me a lot of helpful tips for the cow, but unfortunately they seem to go in one ear and out the other.
Nice. We're going to use a nuke here for safety. Every time you use a nuke as well, you get some iframes afterward, which could help you out of a jam if you were just in a situation where you're going to get hit and you happen to have a nuke stored. Definitely is helpful to know, even in casual playthrough.
Yeah. Nice, still at 4 HP. Very good.
Yeah. Playing a little safer this time after a little mishap last time with these flying stakes.
Taking advantage of the small space between the boss and where these attacks come out.
Yeah, when you think of the progression of this fight's kind of disturbing. We started out fighting a cow, and now we're fighting just some sausage links here, or some sort of hot dogs, or
Well, as long as it's all kosher.
It does say 100% beef sausages on the little box right there. So, okay, we got all the ingredients. We defeated all the bosses on the DLC aisle. So now it's just a matter of walking back over to Chef Saltbaker, and he'll just make that wonder tart from his chalice, and everything will be well, right? That's got to be
exactly.
it. There's probably not going to be any twists or anything, right?
I mean, I haven't played the DLC, but I have no reason to expect that anything isn't on the level.
Yeah. It'll just be very simple here. And his ingredients, and then his chalice will just be alive again, and no problems. So Chef Saltbaker's not here, but has a little hatch open to this dungeon. And apparently, Chef Saltbaker is evil in a Disney-esque twist. We find out that Chef Saltbaker actually was using the time we were distracted to kidnap Mugman. So now Miss Chalice has to save him. It's actually a very difficult phase. Probably the hardest phase, single phase in the DLC is this.
There's so much on the screen to dodge here, especially on Expert.
Okay. All right, moving into this phase 2 right here. Chef Saltbaker, a little homage to Mario there. He put a mushroom inside of his hat, or he ate a mushroom there, and now he's gigantic. Happened so quickly, I didn't even catch that the first couple times I played through this. I do have a chef joke, Sublime. Do you have any chef jokes? I have a good one.
What is your chef joke?
How many chefs does it take to bake a pie?
How many?
3.14.
Oh, no.
That joke was a little underdone.
Oh. Okay. We got 1 HP going in the final phase here. I gotta buckle down and concentrate here a little bit.
You got
gotta
this.
put my chef's hat on. All right.
Nice.
We got the knockout.
GG.
And that actually does complete the DLC. Now we're going to be leaving the DLC and going back to Aisle 1 and starting the base game itself. We have probably a good 30 or 40 seconds before the next fight starts. Ateatree, if you have any donations that you want to read real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to let you know that the next bonus game incentive is open. That is Portal at $80,000. We are already well on our way. People are rushing us there, like Josh and Caitlin, sending in $50 and saying the best part of January is watching GDQ. Love you all. And Ogeron donates $50 to PCF and says, happy GDQ week and looking forward to all the runs this week. Fortunate to donate more than usual this year. Good luck, runners. And Sandman, also with $50, who says, good luck to all the runners and giving a shout out to the announcers. Thank you so much to all of you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Now, up next, these guys are in for a root awakening. This is the root pack. We're going to take down this potato right here. There's actually a secret phase on this boss that we're going to utilize. Normally, you fight the onion that starts crying, but apparently if you just don't shoot the onion at all, or at least don't shoot him for a while, he just goes away. And then the phase is over. We are going to do a little bit of damage here after the secret phase is triggered. And this does make a radish appear out of the ground at the end here. which makes the final phase a little trickier, but the fact that we're able to skip the second phase ends up making the fight a little bit shorter.
I just have to say, in terms of boss design, the carrot really is outstanding in its field.
Nice.
These puns are dirty.
You guys are too much. I wasn't expecting this. I thought I'd be like the only pun thrower in the chat right here.
I mean, the category said 300%, so I assumed that meant the amount of puns we had to fit in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And now these guys are going to be pretty unhappy when I'm done with them. This is Ribby and Crooks. And on Expert, the first phase is a lot more difficult because both of them attack simultaneously as opposed to regular where they take turns attacking. Go try to finish them off as quickly as possible here.
I'm not sure why they're so mad. Maybe their car got towed.
Looks like they're wearing new shoes, though. Are those open-toed?
It's a great run so far, too.
Thanks.
The gameplay is riveting.
What do you think they're all drinking in the back? Some tall glasses of Coca-Cola?
Oh my goodness, I was not ready for that one.
Unfortunately, I saw that one coming.
All right.
Nice,
dude. On pretty quickly. Luckily, we saved a bunch of HP for the final phase, so we could damage boost and shoot some spready X's there and have that get done pretty quickly. Coming up next, we have Goopy Legrand, which for a lot of people, this might even be your first Cuphead boss that you face, because when you first start the game, you could either go to Root Pack first or go to Goopy Legrand first, and we're gonna go take care of Goopy now. But now that we have all these DLC items, all these like late game, like Miss Chalice and Charge Shot and Spread, we're gonna beat this boss pretty quickly.
Yeah, and just to act as the voice of chat for a little bit, you just mentioned it, but a lot of people have been asking why are we Miss Chalice right now, and it's because she has additional abilities that make her faster through all this content.
Yep.
Yeah, she has the extra HP. She has a double jump, so you can get to hitboxes easier. She has a jump and dash reset if you get a parry. She's really, really good. And like the dash roll, like the invincible roll on the
if you
ground.
hold down and dash as Miss Chalice, she does a dodge roll where you're temporarily invincible while you're doing it. It's really cool.
Pretty much the only bad thing is that she takes up a charm slot. But for this run, since we go to the DLC right at the beginning and the charm for Miss Chalice is free and it's just given to you, it is super optimal to just grab her. And she would be the strongest out of all the charms anyways, but it's just very convenient at the beginning of the run.
Mm-hmm. And this run's flying by right here. I guess they say, what they say, slime flies when you're having fun. We're actually going to equip, this is going to be the first fight where we equip the Cursed Relic, since we do need to fight some bosses with this to uncurse it.
Yeah.
And our bosses of choice are going to be the base game plane bosses, plus we'll face one non-plane boss later. But the Cursed Relic will start you out with 1 HP in a fight, and will also randomize your weapons whenever you shoot an EX or whenever you attempt to swap weapons. Now, luckily, the reason we're doing these on plane levels is because the plane levels themselves are... you got to dodge a little bit.
You only have two
weapons
in plane levels. So since the weapon is randomized whenever you stop shooting, since there's only 2 weapons, you know exactly what weapon you're going to get. So there are some benefits of using the Cursed Relic on plane levels, especially since we don't even have the plane bombs on this file yet. You get them in aisle 2. But with the Cursed Relic, you roll randomly through all the weapons in the game, even the ones that you don't own. So even though it's a bit scary with 1 HP, it's very optimal to go for the plane levels to upgrade this.
Ooh.
Nice.
And now, it also somewhat randomizes your charms whenever you have the Cursed Relic equipped. So there's a charm called the Parry Ring, which will occasionally give you a a heart for parrying. So every once in a while, it's pretty infrequent when you first get the cursed relic, but as you start fighting bosses with it, the relic gets gradually less cursed. So you're able to get hearts for parrying things more frequently. There is a little bit of a reason to it, but it seems like it's random at first. It's just every so often, every so many parries will be one that counts toward that. They were able to complete that boss. And we actually have more HP than when we started because we were able to attain 1 more HP during the fight.
Yeah, nice.
And I wanted to come up with some good Hildebird puns, but I forgot, and I had a feeling they would have flown over your head. And
Oh my goodness.
all right, and we're actually going to put Miss Chalice back on here to do the second run and gun of the run, Treetop Trouble. We do have to complete all 6 run and guns throughout the course of this run. So Miss Chalice will allow us to get through these pretty quickly. Her dash roll comes in very handy for getting past these woodpeckers because you can just roll under them instead of having to wait or damage boost through them.
And her double jump lets you skip a lot of sections. You can also, if you're in the air long enough, you actually just get a dash reset for free. You don't have to parry anything. So you can stay in the air for a long time with Miss Chalice. And for the platforming levels in this game, she is extremely strong. They weren't made when she was in the game, and I think her design like excels in those. So it's going to be very, very helpful to use her in these.
Yeah, especially that mini boss. Like it's been known that you can jump over that mini boss to skip it completely, but it's kind of a tight jump whenever you're playing as Cuphead or Mugman. But with Miss Chalice, it's trivially easy just because you can jump higher with the double jump.
Sheesh, I thought I would have time for some donations in that level. Before I knew it, you were already leaving.
Nice. And now the final boss of Aisle 1, we have Kagi Carnation, who I consider to be one of the most recognizable Cuphead bosses. There were images of this guy even way back when the game was first announced, long before it was released. So pretty iconic boss. Got some sick dance moves also. This first phase gets a little crazy on Expert though, so we have to make sure we put the pedal to the metal here to get through this section of the fight as quickly as possible.
Yeah, on Expert, he will keep shooting until you do enough damage. So you're just going to get a bunch of seeds. It's like a really, really crazy bullet hell if you don't get it under control.
Yeah.
It's still 3 HP, so this is pretty comfy.
Yeah.
Really? Looks kind of thorny to me.
All right. So that does it for Aisle 1. We just have to go back. There was an NPC just to the left of this level that was originally blocking a coin, but once you complete all the bosses on the first aisle, you're able to grab that coin. So we're going to go just double back shortly just to go grab that, and then we'll head into Aisle 2. You have a short period of time here, maybe like 10 or 20 seconds if you want to get a quick donation in.
Absolutely. I have just the one. We have $5,000 from Fangamer, who says, "Hey, everybody. Fangamer here. We are excited to be back once again as a sponsor for AGDQ 2023. We're ready for another week of non-stop speedruns for a great cause. The Fangamer AGDQ 2023 collection features 10 brand new items, along with returning favorites, and the best part is 100% of the profit from GDQ merch sales through the end of AGDQ supports Prevent Cancer Foundation with donations like this one. You can find the full lineup at fangamer.com/GDQ.
All right, so this boss has quite a bit of RNG to it. There's actually potentially 5 different mini bosses that you could send out here before you have to fight her, and you only have to fight 3 of them. So depending on which mini bosses you get, they have different amounts of HP, and some of them are more difficult than others. So there is a bit of an RNG factor here. Hopefully we don't get the Jawbreaker here. Okay, we didn't. Jawbreaker is just very easy but very long death animation.
Yeah.
And now we fight Baroness herself. And we're just going to stand here and jump a lot and try not to get eaten by her house here. And that was quick.
Nice.
That fight was short and sweet. And we do have another run and gun coming up here as well, Funfair Fever, which some of you may hear the music, and it's very reminiscent of the athletic theme in Super Mario World. There's definitely some inspiration there. Has one of the best... It's one of the best music tracks of the game, in my opinion. we'll go to that shortly here, and you'll see what I mean.
Using Miss Chalice here again, there's a couple of spots where you can double jump and just stay in the air with your dashes and skip some areas. And it also helps out a lot with the hot dog if you're out of HP at the end.
Oh, yeah.
A couple, you said? Did you do that on purpose? Maybe I'm just hearing puns where they aren't there. What do you say? Time for any donations?
Yeah, we can squeeze a donation in here. That's fine.
Certainly. Amadi1966 donates $25 to PCF and says, "What do you get when you cross a sponge with an electric eel? A shock absorber." Hopefully this donation battles cancer better than it creates laughs.
Thank you for that.
That is for that level. Yeah, as you see, that end section was incredibly quick, especially with the damage boosting that you can do with the extra HP that Miss Chalice gets. Moving forward here, we have another Cursed Relic fight here. We're going to equip the Cursed Relic to fight Wally Werewolves. And yeah, like the plane levels, man, they're fast to do with the Cursed Relic, but they are terrifying.
Yeah, on Expert, Wally's egg attacks are no joke, and I think it's safe to say they can't be ignored.
Hopefully this fight goes exactly as planned.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, we got an extra HP, so we do have a little bit of a breathing room there.
The egg attacks take up the back wall on Expert. It's very hard. It's a big difference.
Yeah, there's
regular.
not much space to be safe there.
Up to 2 HP now. This is looking pretty good.
Oh yeah, we got 3 HP
Nice.
now, so even better. We do a little pause buffer there because it actually loads the final phase in faster. Not exactly sure why, but
Yeah,
it was discovered a long time ago. Pretty cool mechanic. We're gonna take a damage boost here because
Nice.
we can get into position to shoot these those missile EXs there, and they do a lot of damage since Wally has such a long hitbox at the end there. Up next, we're going to take what looks like an inefficient route through the island, but it's actually required to get a hidden coin from one of the NPCs on this isle. So we're going to take a shortcut here behind the mountain, and we're going to go face off against Grim Matchstick. Go. But yeah, we have to take the long route here just so we can double back and get a coin. Now, some of you that may know this fight from regular mode will notice one key difference between regular and expert on this fight, and that's that the clouds are moving in the opposite direction, which, in my opinion, makes the first phase much harder since you're getting dragged toward him instead of away from him. I wasn't even trying to make a pun there, but I heard it after it came out. Yeah,
I thought you were just waiting for me to notice that one.
No.
Using spread here can be really tricky. You have to get really close to him, and you can't just guess what position you need to be in. You need to make sure you're not winging it at all.
Was the winging it a pun? Dragons have wings?
I tried my best.
Okay.
Hitting like an
my best to make
invisible
sure
little
this-
hitbox here, that transition is still vulnerable, but you have to know where the hitbox is forming. It's a little arbitrary, but if you practice it, you can get some extra damage there. Going in for the damage boost, using Spread EX, where you're inside a sprite, is extremely strong, and using Miss Chalice's 4 HP there it makes that much comfier.
I just want that fight to drag on that long.
There it is. I remember from the last time we did this run together that that damage boost was milliseconds away from going the wrong direction on you.
That was intense. I got it close, that's for sure.
You almost got toasted.
Yeah. Right there, we talked to that guy. He gives you a coin as long as you've had 4 consecutive parries at some point during the run, which we basically, once you go through the King's Leap as Miss Chalice, it's basically a given that you get that. You don't even have to consciously do that because you're just juggling parries for that entire fight. I'm going on, this is my personal favorite run and gun, just because it has this really cool upside down mechanic, which we didn't see again until the DLC with that Howling Asics fight. But yeah, I actually switched to Mugman for this level because it makes it a little easier because of part of Miss Chalice's mechanics, the way that she dash parries, you end up getting a lot of accidental parries and accidentally reversing gravity when you don't want to if you're playing this level as Miss Chalice and trying to go quickly. So switching back to Cuphead or Mugman for this level makes things go a lot smoother.
And it seems like it may be avoidable, but it is so frustrating to come through here with Miss Chalice and just get an accidental parry like 20 times in the same level.
Yeah. Every time you get a parry as well, like something that people don't talk about that much, is it actually freezes the screen for 10 frames. So that actually makes things go quite a bit slower when you consider that like every 6 parries, you're just adding an extra second of time.
Wait, so being more skillful loses... I'm going to have to consider this.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
This goes against everything I've ever learned.
Mm-hmm. So you'll notice on a lot of fights, we'll actually opt not to get parries at all because not only do they take up time and screen lag, but they also add an extra line to the results screen whenever you're scrolling through. That takes about another like 0.8 seconds or so compared to not getting any parries at all. So even though the parries are helpful, by the way, sorry, this is a good time for donations after I'm done saying this. We're at another mausoleum level. But yeah, basically the parries, if they don't save you more than a second, they're not worth getting.
All right, I'm on it. We've got a $50 donation train that's been jetting us towards the Portal bonus game. We're at 1,500 out of 80,000. With donations like Inkjet Fire 911 sending in $50, saying incredible to watch the skill on display, completing Cuphead 300%. Donating to Wallop Cancer once and for all. Incentive goes towards Yakuza Kiwami Karaoke. $50 from Salmon Buffalo, who says throwing a couple of coins towards this amazing cause. Jason, you're on the big stage now, so don't botanic panic and cause a carnival kerfuffle, or else you'll need to do the bootlegger boogie to avoid high seas hijinks. Best of luck on the run. Much love, Salmon.
Salmon, great job, man. A lot of thought in that one. Thank you. And we're going to go put the Cursed Relic back on because we're coming up on another plane level, the Jimmy the Great fight. Which I think, just by sheer design, Jimmy the Great's probably my favorite boss in the game, just because
really cool
the fight
boss.
has very cool progression. Yeah. And it's a very difficult fight with the Cursed Relic here, so I'm going to concentrate a little bit. And,
it also has one of the 3 secret phases in the, or 4 now with the DLC. One of the secret phases in the game, but it is not faster for this run. So we're not going to be doing the secret phase for this. Oh, nice try.
That was rough RNG
it's
in the
very
first
hard
phase.
to do the beginning of the Cursed Relic fights. You start with 1 HP and you got to be really, really careful. I don't know why he's so angry at us. I think we may have rubbed him the wrong way.
Well, I wish the second time we go through this goes a little easier, a little more smoothly here. Okay. We got that 2 HP now. We have that push.
All these pillars are doing additional damage to the boss. This damage is carrying over to the next phase. So maximizing the damage on each of these pillars will actually help you out a bit if you can do it. It's not always the easiest, but that was a really good job there.
Thanks. Yeah, each of those wall pieces, you can destroy them in 1 bomb or 6 mini plane bullets. So I try to do 5 mini plane bullets plus a bomb just to maximize the amount of damage you get on those. And then we're able to finish that sarcophagus phase pretty quickly here. This is where you would normally trigger the secret phase. If you stay as a mini plane for this, you would go right to the final phase, and the final phase is a lot more HP. We're opting to do the fight normally, though, because as Sublime mentioned, it doesn't really save time doing the fight that way.
If you're like perfect, then sometimes it would. If you were like a genius, maybe.
I'll say, though, he's damaging this boss at an amazing rate.
Nice.
Getting lots of value out of these EXs in the last phase because he has a very big hitbox.
And it looks subtle, but there's a lot of small things I'm doing to kind of manipulate where his eye rings are shooting, so to make it a little bit easier to dodge in that final phase. But yeah, that fight went pretty smoothly the second time around.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm going to go switch back to Miss Chalice now for the next couple fights. Coming up, we have the Beppy the Clown fight, and there will be no clowning around here. This boss is pretty difficult, actually. It's definitely no joke.
Good day for a 12 Now go.
Nice. Getting a 3 cycle there. Sometimes you can get a 2 cycle if you're not careful, or if you could just do it on purpose. But doing more damage in the first phase there will actually help Jason get rid of this second phase a bit faster. And it's pretty good to get rid of it fast because you have to jump up to hit that hitbox, and the train with the dogs is a very scary combo.
Yep. Okay, we're able to finish
nice.
that pretty quickly just before the plane gets here.
Keeping
Let's go into the final phase of 2 HP here.
Keeping 2 HP. And here's an example of where, even though weapon swap glitch got patched for this game a long time ago, it's actually really good to, very effective to swap weapons quickly if you have EXs. It requires a specific timing, but even on the current patch, swapping weapons is extremely good, and in some situations, it's done a lot.
Yeah, mainly during your EX attacks. Normally, whenever you shoot an EX attack, you stop shooting your weapon in order to shoot the EX attack. But if you swap weapons while you're doing an EX attack, like after you press the EX button, it allows you to continue shooting your weapon before the EX comes out. And then vice versa, after the EX comes out, before you start shooting normally again, if you swap again, it'll also allow you to continue shooting weapons. So we do a bunch of very quick swaps during EXs, so we're effectively shooting while we're doing the EX attacks. And that ends up adding up to quite a bit of damage over time.
Right.
So we're moving on to aisle 3. This game's just flying by.
Yeah.
You really coasted on through. If I may, we've got $25 from Aura, who says, at first I was worried Jason was getting mugged, but it seems like he's quite cuppable. With all the crafty tricks up his sleeves, I'm enjoying the most one-sided Cuphead playthrough I've ever seen. Let's keep bringing in the saucer and beat cancer.
That was amazing.
Hey, Sublime, what do you think this guy's favorite band is?
Is it the Beatles?
Ooh, good choice. It's the Police, but not for the reason you'd think. It's because his favorite singer is Sting.
I thought it was gonna be Beethoven or Beyonce or something.
Or Bee Gees.
I mean, I thought it was going to be the Archies. You remember that song, Sugar, Honey, Honey?
Ooh, yeah. That would have been good too. I was just thinking about how I need to stay alive here. So.
Probably wise, so you don't get stung.
Ooh. You do enough damage, you can actually finish him, finish her right before final phase before she turns to this plane there. But we just missed out on it by 1 shot. Is really close.
Yeah. It's very cool, though, to get her before the plane even arrives.
Mm-hmm. But coming up next, we're actually going to see another unique DLC mechanic that they added here. So if you circle around in place repeatedly quickly, you summon the game Genie. And this allows you to double your health at the start of the next level on simple or regular difficulty. But even if you're on expert, it allows you to have double health for run and guns. And because of that, even though it takes a few seconds to summon the Genie, we're able to save a lot of time with damage boosting on this level in particular. You'll see, especially at the very end, where they have a section that's kind of like an auto-scroller, but we can break the auto-scroller section by dashing ahead of it. So you'll see what I mean a little bit, how this extra HP will save us quite a bit of time.
Yeah, and combining this with Miss Chalice's extra HP just innately, and her double jump, and just her dash reset, it's very, very... adding all those up makes this much easier, and there's more leeway to take damage. Onto the second rock in this level that's just lying right in the way. it's a very effective spot to take damage with the lions. And here, Jason's at 5 HP. There's a lot of damage boosting that can be done here to just skip this entire chasing section and just get to the end.
Yep, there we go. We saved quite a bit of time there.
And this concept's going to be used in the other running gun as well, but there is there's a pretty cool skip you can get with that he's going to go for.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit here. Coming up next, we're going to do the next 2 fights with the Cursed Relic. Everyone's favorite Dr. Kahl is coming up here, which is often cited as one of the hardest fights in the game, and we're going to be doing it with the Cursed Relic at 1 HP. So, wish us luck here.
Yeah, definitely one of the critical points of the run is to clutch this out.
I'll tell you, this boss has got a screw loose, that's for sure. See, there goes the screws. Ooh, just got that nuke
almost didn't get that nuke.
Yeah.
Nice. Going into the
the
final phase with 2 HP, that's really, really good. And there's going to be a bunch of parries coming, so more potential to just get the health up and make sure that you're not losing too much damage trying to save your health.
Yeah, we got an extra HP now. We're sitting pretty comfortable here. Going to take some damage boost here. I took a hit right before I used this nuke, unfortunately, which loses us a bit of time since we got iframes that we didn't want there, so we couldn't use our nuke right away, but it's still going smoothly. There we go. Goodbye, Dr. Kahl. May you rest in peace. But the next fight is actually the only fight where we use the Cursed Relic on a non-plane level, and you'll see what we mean about the randomization of the weapons, because it ends up being quite tricky to get the weapon that you want. I'm going to be cycling through weapons, trying to find at least one of the more desirable weapons on this fight. But luckily, we only have 2 more fights to go in order to uncurse this relic, fighting these bosses on Aisle 3, because they give you more points toward uncursing the relic as opposed to earlier bosses. There we go.
And unfortunately, with the Cursed Relic, there is no way to cheese this mouse, but Roundabout is a very strong option because there's going to be a lot of naturally just turning around in this fight, and it gives you the ability to strafe without changing your weapon because you won't have to dash. But obviously, you want to dash to be careful because you're at 1 HP here, and so getting Roundabout and just keeping it is pretty strong. You don't know what weapon you're going to get if you EX here to try and boost your damage, and so the consistency is very valuable.
Oh my goodness! I made a miscalculation there.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Surprising.
This fight can give parries at the beginning, but it doesn't have to, and
yeah, see, we got fortunate here. Yeah. This time we get a parry attack right off the bat, so now we have 3 HP as opposed to last time where we got 2 bad attacks in a row. So now we're looking a lot better here. Rats. Just hoping to get that one first try.
Oh, time for some donation puns while we work our way back through.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That sounds good.
Great. $5 from Sixpog, who says, this speedrun's definitely my cup of tea. Spirit Bear sends in $25 and says, I submitted 10 puns to a writing contest hoping one would win. Sadly, no pun intended.
Nice.
The Sound Defense donates $50 to PCF and says, I don't know how Jason defeated that genie boss so fast. It was like magic. And That Guy Harvey sends in $25. Best of luck to Jason in China. Have a great run. Don't you dare think about shelving these puns. In fact, draw more from your cupboards and stir up some crockers for chat. I'm sure they'll be left shattered with laughter. Much love to all. My donation goes to the portal bonus game, Champagne. Let's all raise a glass to GDQ and have ourselves a grande old time. Just like Goopy. Thanks very much to everyone.
Thank you.
So One thing you'll notice with the cursed relic that I was doing toward the end there is that now that the relic is getting closer to being uncursed, it is allowing us to use our parry as the whetstone charm somewhat frequently. And that fight, it was every 2 or 3 parries was giving us a whetstone hit, which allows your parry to turn into an axe attack, which does some extra damage. And you'll see that a little bit in the last fight that we're going to be doing with the cursed relic, which is coming up shortly. But for this fight, we are going to go to Captain Brinybeard. I got a joke for you, Sublime. What is Captain Brinybeard's favorite letter of the alphabet?
Is it R?
You'd think R, but it's actually the C.
It's true. It's a pirate's first love.
Well, one of his favorites has to be P, because without it, he would be irate.
True. Although, this guy does seem pretty irate.
I think he might be right now.
We're going on the final phase right here. We're going to try for some cool damage boosts right here during this laser here, which you're supposed to dodge by either parrying it or going under it, but we're just going to go get hit by it.
Nice.
Now we have one more run and gun before the final Cursed Relic fight. So this is another example of a level that we're going to be using the Game Genie on to start with double the HP. And you'll see that there's a nice little skip that we can do at the end, assuming things go smoothly, which will allow us to save maybe 15 seconds or so. And just for anyone curious that's watching and doesn't know the mechanics of the Game Genie, you can only use it 3 times on your first time through the game, and after you complete the game, you can use it as many times as you want.
Luckily, we don't have to use it more than 3 times for this run.
Yeah, we only have to use it twice. We don't really have to use it at all, but it's only really helpful to use twice.
And hopefully nothing goes wrong that would cause you to have to do an action replay. That's not really a pun, more of a reference, but I thought it was suitably esoteric.
I liked it.
Hey, references are fine, you know? All right, here we go. We're gonna take some damage boost here because we do have a lot of HP, but normally there's an auto scroller here triggered by parrying that octopus, and we are going to skip that completely. Hopefully not die.
Yeah, I was a bit worried. Yeah, that worked out. So that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah. Normally, if you parry that octopus, you get locked into an auto scroller, and unlike the one that's on Rugged Ridge, you can't just skip it by dashing forward. You're actually locked into the screen. So it helps a lot to just skip that auto scroller part completely.
Yeah.
All right, and we are on the last Cursed Relic.
Yeah, so the last fight where he's going to start with 1 HP, and this fight can be really scary. There's a lot of really tough patterns, and he doesn't have to get a parry right away, so it can be really tricky sometimes.
And I'm going to be routing in some whetstone hits, because now at this stage of the relic, we are getting a whetstone hit every other parry if we want, and they'll just add a little bit of extra damage, but we need to get extremely close, which is very dangerous with 1 HP here. Luckily, we have a little buffer here now. We have 2 HP, but it's a little tricky.
I tried my best to incorporate an ocean pun here somehow, but I couldn't find a Pacific way.
Nice. I mean, I got some of my own. I could talk about how Kahl is thick with 7 Cs, but I'll just mention that I'm feeling pretty good about this fight right now.
Did you just say you're ealing good?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
As you should be, at least unless you get rocked.
All right, here we go. Final phase here. Still down to 1 HP because we did take that hit in that second phase there, but we're going to try to stay close. Interesting thing about this boss, if you're close enough to her, she actually can't hit you with any of her attacks in final phase. You just need to dodge these little spike walls that are at the end.
Yeah, so it's a very strong strategy to just stare at the back of her head and just see where the spikes are going, and then you can just hold up or down. You don't need to move left or right anymore. It simplifies the last phase, and that's one of the like most RNG heavy phases casually too. So it's extremely
Yeah, it can help a lot just on your first play.
yeah, to know that that's a thing.
And now we have the cursed relic. It's uncursed. It's now the divine relic, but we are going to shelve that for now. It is pretty cool. It's a cool weapon conceptually, but the power of Miss Chalice just helps us too much in this run. And you'll see also here on the Sally stage play fight, there's a really cool glitch that we can do, and Miss Chalice makes it significantly easier to do otherwise. So we're going to go try to trigger it right here.
Yeah, this saves a lot of time.
So normally there's a secret phase here that if you just lower the little angels on the side, the thing in the background falls down and crushes her husband, and then sends the rest of the fight down a different path. All right, we got it.
Nice.
But if you trigger the fight, the secret phase at the same time as you trigger the fight's second phase normally, it ends up glitching the fight out and skipping you right to the third phase, which saves you quite a bit of time on just screen transitions, because there's a lot of lengthy screen transitions for this fight.
Oof.
Ooh, boy.
Nice.
Thanks. Gonna play this a little safe here.
You got this. Nice.
All right.
GG.
Phew.
Yeah, so playing it a bit safe in the last couple of phases, but it's with that skip that he got, it is very fast time.
Yeah, it still saved a significant amount of
Yeah.
time. And I think I played that as best as I could.
Yeah.
That RNG.
Yep, no time for an encore on that one, but you definitely should take a bow.
And coming up next is a fight that I think I've trained pretty well
Oh
for.
my goodness, I was gonna say that.
Oh, sorry, man. Pick your puns here. But we are not going to suplex this train, despite the fact that it resembles the Phantom train from Final Fantasy VI quite a bit.
Pretty tough first phase with those strategies.
Yeah.
It's really fast, but it's really scary. You don't want to lose like 3 HP there and just do the rest of the fight on 1.
Phew.
Nice.
Going about as good as it could so far.
Yeah, it was a comfy 2 cycle, and then now he's going to do a little bit of damage to each one and see who's attacking. Nice. That was really good.
Yeah, that was a smooth fight. I think ideally, like, if you play this fight perfectly, you can get like a 59-second fight on Expert. I think this is on track for... not quite that low.
On track, he says.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a 2 cycle on the final phase there. You could get a 1 cycle on that, but I missed 1 key charge shot earlier on. But that's okay. We're still at 105. It's still really solid. And now we have quite a bit of downtime. We have maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the next fight because we have to take care of some endgame stuff. We have to pick up a secret coin from Inkwell Hell, and we have to go back to the shop to go buy all the items, then do Mausoleum 3 before we go into the final push of the run here. So if you have any other donations, you have quite a bit of time to read them right now, Ateatree.
Certainly. We've got $250 from the Phantom Express, who says, so glad we were able to punch our ticket for this bonus speedrun of one of my all-time favorite games. The fact that we've already raised $100,000 really raises my spirit. We're well on track to hitting $200,000. Hope you've trained hard to try and defeat me, Jason. You better bring your best funds or you won't have a ghost of a chance. Would that I could have read that just 2 minutes earlier, but thank you so much for your generosity, Phantom Express. It is absolutely timeless.
Thank you.
Cyberbot X sends in $25 saying, been loving this Cuphead speedrun, although I am very much going boo earns at the funds. Best of luck on the run, putting this to the Void Flush showcase in Cultic later on. We're doing a really
Simpsons reference?
Yes, I do believe so.
Nice.
Let's see, while you try to avoid getting hit by football, let's get a quick update on some of our challenges. We are more than halfway to the Cultic Void Flush incentive that Cyberbot X just mentioned, 2,230 out of 4,000. We are 3/4 of the way to the Yakuza Kiwami karaoke performance. If you want to hear Baka Mitai, we're going to need another $2,300, but I think that is absolutely nothing for you, chat. I absolutely believe in you. The Super Boss Showcase for Yakuza Kiwami is also active at 3,190, so just about 11% out of the $30,000 goal. And the Portal bonus game is warping its way ahead at $2,508. Please keep it up, everyone. Time for a little bit more.
Yeah. We still got maybe another minute or so. Or maybe like 30 seconds.
Problem Patcher donates $50 to the Prevent Cancer Foundation, saying, "This is a really great Cuphead run, but with all the puns, I have to see it as a glass half full." Thank you to my partner for the joke. We've been having a great time riffing off of the commentary. Good luck on the run. We hear the final boss is a devil of a time.
Oh, yeah.
The Bweegade with $25 saying, "Bwee bwee." Longtime watcher, very first time donator. AGDQ has been a way for me to continue to connect with my friends through thick and thin. It has been the light of my life, and I've met friends for life. Super hyped for the Cuphead run. Let's roll those dice. Good luck, Jason, and don't cry over spilt milk. From the Bweegade.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you'll notice I actually am going to play the last 2 levels here as Mugman. We equipped a charm known as Whetstone, which I described a little bit before. It turned your parry into an axe attack. But now we'll be able to use it for every parry because we're using the actual charm itself rather than the Cursed Relic. And this will help us speed up some of these boss fights. It's going to make them very high risk, but it is going to make it faster. So we got to do what we can, you know?
Yeah, he's got.
I think it's more fitting for Mugman or Cuphead themselves to be the ones facing off against King Dice and the Devil rather than letting Chalice do the heavy lifting, you know?
I had to let you. I thought you were gonna go for something there. With 1 HP less, it's also just scary because you can't damage boost as much. He's going to be getting 3 HP extra no matter what because he has to do every single level here. But it's definitely very high risk, high reward to be doing this.
And one thing worth noting, too, is defeating all of King Dice's mini-bosses here isn't actually required for 300% on your file, but we like to include it as part of the 300% category because it does fill out your checklist. So later on, after we complete the run, I'll go back and show the complete checklist with all the King Dice mini-bosses filled in, all the levels completed, and all the items and all that, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, you'll see here, we're using some Whetstone tech here, which allows you to basically parry off of anything.
This looks really cool, too. Nice.
We finished that. That was a really, really fast
Yeah, that was
fight.
very good.
We're really rolling through these, huh?
Yeah. There's some really good puns in chat.
Yeah, they're definitely chipping in with some good ones.
Nice.
So using the Whetstone here to jump over this hitbox, it's you cannot stand there and dodge that or duck it. You have to get out of the way. And so he's doing extra damage while also making sure he doesn't need to move or stop shooting. It's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that cigar just got smoked, huh?
I guess I like him better than the poker chips. He always had a chip on his shoulder.
Good day for a swell battle.
This fight's really fun to do with the Whetstone. A lot of jumping and dodging here.
Nice. Using charge in conjunction with the Whetstone is extremely good.
Yeah, it's a very efficient combo to use because while you're flying around setting up Whetstone hits, you can be charging your charge shots and then shooting the boss with them whenever you get fully charged.
I mean, you really didn't seem to have much problem there. Would you say that domino was a pushover?
Yes.
See, I was trying to think of puns for this rabbit, but none of them were very bunny.
I'm sure you could pull one out of the hat if you tried.
Oh, man.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay. Things are looking pretty dicey there for a moment, huh? This is actually kind of a tough stretch of mini bosses because you'll see the number 9 has a heart above it, and it could have been over to number 7 or number 8. So that's where we'll get our bonus HP, but it's in the farthest. It's in the last mini boss, so we'll have only 3 HP to deal with till we get there. And these are some of the hardest fights of the run. Oh boy, that's close.
This one's really tough. You got to make sure you're not horsing around.
I'd make some jokes about odds making, but I bet no one would get them.
Man, now I'm not sure, like, every time you guys talk, I'm not sure if you guys are making puns that are flying over my head or if you're just talking.
That's how I know listening really carefully now.
Yeah. Like dissecting everything everyone's saying. Like, oh man, I'm missing out on jokes. This fight is actually a pretty difficult bit. You need to concentrate here a little bit.
Yeah, doing this on experts with Cuphead, or without Smoke Dash, just with Cuphead or Mugman is very, very hard. There's a lot of projectiles with the rain that she does, and you don't have much time to get away sometimes. And there's also some really, really tricky patterns that can, in one, for example, it's better to walk than it is to dash, and it can just be really, really hard to deal with.
Can you see what boss is coming next, Sublime?
Is it the 8 ball?
Are you able to see the future? Yes, you can see the future.
Are you sure you shouldn't just ask again later? Oh, wait, never mind.
All right. That is probably the easiest of the King Dice mini bosses there. I think it has the lowest HP of the bosses. And it's another one of those bosses where they don't have a hurt box. So you're free to like bounce into them as much as you want. And you'll only get hit by the other things on screen. This boss is kind of infamous, the monkey. It's been kind of an infamous boss since the legacy version of the game. But I'm going to try to beat this one as quickly as possible. I do need to try. It's a matching game here, so I got to concentrate a little bit.
Right. There is a small skip he's going to be going for here, where he can kill the monkey before matching the last cards, and it can be sometimes pretty tight to get, but he's going to try his best here. It definitely saves a little bit of time. And this is one of the levels where like you really have to pay attention at the beginning, because it shows you where all the matches are right at the beginning, and then it turns them away. So you only have like a moment to look. But there are 12 boards on experts, so you can potentially memorize them if you like study which boards are which and recognize them early enough. All right, here comes the nuke.
Oh yes,
nice, dude.
I got the early kill there with that. If you time your nuke just correctly, usually he becomes invulnerable again at certain damage thresholds. But if you over damage right on the second to last card flip, you can actually finish him without flipping all the cards. Which is a neat little trick.
Nice, going into the last part.
You're saying you showed us a card trick?
Yes,
very good.
I showed you guys a card trick. There we go. It's a good fight.
Nice.
All right, and on to the final part of the run. That's a 5:39. That's ridiculous. That's a very, very good time for the King Dice Gauntlet here.
Getting the star skip as well. Make this a very fast L.
So coming up here, so we've gone through, we collected all the soul contracts, and should we say yes to the devil? Should we agree to him? Should we give him back all the soul contracts and join him?
Which one gets us closer to 300%?
Saying no. I always say no to the devil, kids. And by the way, whoever's working the time, whenever we see knockout on this level is going to be the run here. And yeah, we're using the whetstone attack for this fight as well, because it just helps speed things along a little bit, since you're able to do that extra damage with the parries while while you're fighting him here.
It also lets you get in a full spread EX inside of his head, so that's very, very good.
Yeah. Sure about so before the devil, before he opened up his casino, did you know he actually used to have his own YouTube account?
No.
It got demonetized.
Oh my goodness. I want HP here. Gotta be a little careful. The whetstones are very effective with that on the eyes. Oof. Touch, dude.
Ooh,
Nice.
Beautiful.
That was very good.
that was some really,
GG.
really tough dodges at the end. Thank you, everyone. Oh boy, 1 minute flat on the devil. Now, don't go anywhere yet, guys. I'm going to just go through, load back into the file, and just show you guys what a completed file looks like, just for all the people out there that are curious to see to make sure that we actually did get 300%. But yeah, the end of the game here, we destroy all the soul contracts, we rescue all the residents of Inkwell Isle, everyone's happy, they rejoice, Cuphead and Mugman, and then they're all out of trouble, and that's the end. So that was Cuphead. That was 300%, everyone. Like I said, we're going to go just get back into it right here. While we're loading back in, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the Cuphead speedrunning community. If you guys like this run, you enjoy Cuphead, definitely join the Discord. If you go to speedrun.com/Cuphead, click the Discord link. We would love to have new people there. Definitely want to give a huge shout out to the GDQ staff for putting up with my tech troubles that I've had in the weeks leading up to this, and also just for selecting me to run such a wonderful game in front of so many people here. And so here's the completed file. We have all the weapons unlocked. We have all 3 super arts, although we didn't use any of them throughout the run. We have all the charms, including the Divine Relic, and the checklist is all complete. Everything, including all the King Dice mini bosses, are done here. All the DLC. That's the game.
Nice.
That's
That was
everything.
a really good run, dude. Good job.
Thanks. And I also want to give a huge shout out as well to Sublime for joining me on commentary, and especially because it is so late his time. He's over in Europe. What time is it now, Sublime?
It's
like 3 a.m. for you now, right?
2:45 here in the Netherlands.
But yeah, do you have any last words? Sublime?
Just
Anyone,
thank you to everyone who is watching and to everyone who donated. It was an honor to be able to commentate for GDQ. And if you're looking to do speedruns, challenge runs, or you just want to find a community of players for this game, the speedrunning and hitlist communities are both very helpful and welcoming. And you can find links to the Discord servers of those communities on the Cuphead section of speedrun.com and Team Hitlist. And I hope you enjoyed the run, and thank you all so much for being part of the event.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So I guess we'll send it back to Ateatree, and I believe the next game coming up is Donkey Kong Country 3, which I'm very excited to watch. As one of my favorite games of my childhood. So thank you, everyone, for having us.
Thank you.